Hello everyone, Patrick Simmons here, and we're looking at the Wix tutorial 4B. So this is just a continuation of all of the other Wix tutorials in this series. It's the last Wix tutorial in the series, so certainly go back and take a look at the other Wix tutorials if you haven't yet seen them. The purpose of this tutorial is to walk you through the Skills Spotlight. And the Skills Spotlight is part of your portfolio where you can highlight for potential employers, recruiters, peers, what are your skills? And a lot of times you'll see in a resume just a list. We'll say my skills, and everyone walks down the usuals. They'll say, well, I'm a team player, good communication. I know Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Everybody kind of uses those same words. I'm a problem solver. But what differentiates yourself from others? What differentiates yourself from saying you're organized from everybody else that says they're organized? So it's important to have a skills spotlight that can really highlight some of your skills and describe them. Okay, so we're going to use a technique called the STAR technique. STAR technique starts with the S, which is describe your situation. It's more of the big picture. Moves to T, which is describe the task. Now, when you're describing your task, you really want to focus on what was your task. So if you're working on a committee, absolutely, the situation for the committee might have been to plan and prepare and organize an event, let's say for a sports association. You had to organize a welcome event as a recruitment tool to find volunteers. So that might be the situation. The task might be, what's your task? So your task might have been to work on a small team, and your task was to create some content and some material and find and recruit volunteers at the event. Okay, so that was your task. The next step is A for action. What actually was the action that you had, and how did you contribute to that task? So don't say stuff like, well, the whole committee, we did this, we did this, we did this. The we did this doesn't really highlight what did you do. So certainly if you are including a activity or an event where you kind of played more of a supporting or passive role, I mean, if you have to, you say, I contributed and supported a team that did this. But if you had specific things that you were responsible for, highlight what you were responsible for. That's your action. And then finally, the results. I did this, I set up a table, and I had a meet and greet and frequently asked questions. And I sat at the table and, greeted all these new parents into the sport. And I managed to sign up 35 volunteers, right? So that's the results. So there's your situation, tasks, action, results. It's the STAR technique. So let's take a look at how we build our Skills Spotlight page. I'm going to go to my pages. In an earlier tutorial, I created a folder for my Skills Spotlight with 2 pages underneath. So I'm going to go to my teamwork. Teamwork's going to be a blank page. So let's fill it. I'm going to take add elements, and I want to go to this strip. And I'm going to use this strip to find one of these templates that is going to help set up, I guess, the Skills Spotlight. So if I'm looking at all of them, let's go with this one, this About Us template. So I'm going to click on it. We're going to look at our strip. This strip has an image and then a couple of text boxes and a button. So we'll change those in a sec. So the first thing we're going to do is I want a title for this page. Remember, this is my skill spotlight of teamwork. So I'm going to go to text and I'm going to go to titles. And I'm just going to grab one. We'll do magazine title. You can pick one that works for you. Put it at the very top. And I'm going to change the text. And I'm going to call it teamwork. I'm going to choose to make this all caps. I'm also going to center it. And I'm going to highlight and make it 36. Okay, that works for me. Teamwork. So now I'm going to get rid of these boxes. And the first thing I want to do is change this image. So I'm going to make sure that this strip is selected. So I'm just going to click on this little strip tag and notice that the entire strip is connected. Sometimes it's hard to find or tell where is the image, but I'm going to click on the strip and I'm going to go change strip background. And that's where I can see my image is currently in the background. So I'm going to go image. I'm going to click on media from Wix. Now I can type in teamwork because that's what this skill spotlight is on, is teamwork. But I'm going to have some fun and I'm going to type in something that is associated with teamwork, but is a little bit different, a little bit unique. So I'm going to type in bees and I'm just going to select bees. This is part of your just being creative. Okay. So now I got to fill it with my star technique, some content. So the first thing I want to do is create a little subtitle. So I'm going to go to my titles and I will go to this classic title. And I'm going to call this, you want a title that identifies the event that you're showcasing. So this might be, for example, business, HR course, team project. And it's always good to add a date if you have a date and you want to add it, right? I'm going to make it a little bit wider so it's not on 2 lines. So this is just a subtitle. So this strip is going to only be for this event. So now I want to use the star technique. So very simple. I'm going to add a classic title. And if I wanted to make this title stand out, you could make it a little bigger so it stands out. And then this classic title is a little smaller, right? So I'm going to start with situation. And then I'm going to add some text. Go to paragraphs. Now there's a couple different options here. You have just a text box where you can just type into, but then you also have these collapsible boxes if you have a lot of text. So we'll show you kind of both. So the first one is just a text box, okay? So let's click on this Avenir Light. I kind of like that font. This one's very simple. Notice that pink vertical line shows me that I'm centered with my title. I'm now going to make it a bit bigger. And then I could just type the situation right in this box. Okay. For the purpose of this project, you don't need to put a whole bunch of content. into these boxes. It's more, how are you setting up your page? I do have some content already, so I'm just going to grab some text and I'll copy and paste. Just edit my text real quick. Okay, and there's my text. Okay, that describes my situation. Now what you can do is just copy these two, Control C. So how I selected both of them is I clicked on the one and I held the Shift key down and I clicked on the second. So now they're both selected. And then I'm going to go Control C. That copies it. Control V pastes it. Unfortunately, it pastes it right on top, but I'm just going to click and drag it down. So I'm going to change this one to task. And I'm going to copy and paste some text I have with my task. You do want to make sure when you're adding and copying text from different places, if you notice the font's different, right? So you do want to make sure you go in. This is Avenir Light and that's 16. Got a heading 2. This is paragraph. But I'm just going to actually just go to Avenir Light. Make sure it's 16. Okay. And oops, I'm going to make it the heading 2. It looked like it was different. So heading 2, we'll do the Avenir Light. And then we'll make this 16. Okay. So now they have the same font. Now, if you want to bring these across, I'm going to select all of them, all 4 of these objects. Control C copies, Control V pastes, and then just click and drag it across. And you can use those vertical pink lines to make sure they line up. And then I'm going to make this action. And I'm going to make this results. Result. Okay. Now this action, I actually have more content than I have space for. So I'll show you how you can use a different field, or sorry, text box. There's my result. I'm just copying some content. I would change this to my, it should be a paragraph 2, but just to keep it consistent with the other ones. Notice how this box is quite a bit longer than these other boxes, okay? And if I actually have some action text that is also very long. So we're going to use a different box, a text box, than this one. So I'm going to delete that text box. And I'm going to add an element, a text. And I'm going to go down to this collapsible text box. So we'll add this collapsible box. Make it a little wider. So we got to play with this a bit. So the first thing I want to do is, if we look at these other text boxes here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got about 9 rows. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to layout. And I'm going to say I want this to be about 9 rows. Okay. Second thing I'm going to do is just fill it with some text. So Here's my change text. Copy and paste. Now I've filled it with some text. Okay. Notice I've got these three little dots. That means that there's more text there, and I have to click this to read more. I do want it to be the same font. So I'm going to go change design, and I'm going to go to custom design. Avenir light. Okay. I'm going to go header 2 to start with, just so it's consistent, right? So Avenir light. And we'll change this to 16. Okay. So if we were to look at this page, we'll go to preview. We'll notice under the result, it says read more. You click on it and it opens up and you can read more. And then you could also click on it and it decreases that text box. Okay, so we'll go back to the editor. My action, I'm also going to copy and paste my new collapsible text box here. And I'm going to add a whole bunch of text for my action. So let's go select all my text. I'm going to paste all my new text. And you can see how I've got this read more drop-down box. And let's just quickly change the formatting. Okay, so that all looks like the same formatting. Okay. Does look like this one's a little bit more condensed, but. And I am just gonna, oops, notice this bottom text box isn't lined up. We'll just make sure it's lined up. Everything's got to look neat and orderly. Oops. So task, results, and I'm just going to move these down just a little bit. Okay. So there's our situation, task, action, results. And then lastly, I don't like how these are very close to this edge. So what you could do is narrow these just a bit. And then just move them just a bit. Again, just so everything looks nice and clean. Narrow these just a bit. And just move them across just a bit. Okay, so there's your page, your preview. Let's just take a look what it looks like. Okay, there's your teamwork, situation, action, task, results, situation, task, action, results, star technique. Now, once you have this page, let's say you want to add a full another event where you did your teamwork. You can select your strip, make sure your whole strip is selected. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to go duplicate. Okay, so now I've got this strip at the top. Oh, let's just shrink this a bit. If you find that your strip is too long, just shrink it a bit so that it doesn't take up so much space. So now I've got two different events. You can change this one. This one might have been work on hockey team fundraiser. And then this would be your situation, action, task results, or situation, task, action results for your hockey fundraiser. And then of course, oops, I'm going to click on my strip here and I'm going to change the background. Make sure that you have the whole strip selected. Sometimes it's there. This tag is at the bottom. If I clicked on this tag, it'd be the top strip. So I want to make sure I got this bottom strip. I'm going to go change the strip background. And let's change this image to something a little bit. Let's say it's your hockey team fundraiser, right? Something like that. So now you've got two different activities that you're showcasing that look at teamwork. Okay. Now, the last thing, just to give you shortcuts, and is if you've created one page that you really like for your skill spotlight, and I'm looking, say, for two, I want two different skills that you're creating a spotlight. A quick way you can do it is go to manage your pages. There's the teamwork one that I just created. I've got this empty time management one. So what you can do is just delete this page. Go back to your teamwork one. I'm going to duplicate my teamwork one. Call this time management. Okay. Now, the very first thing you need to do is come change your title so that you know which page is which. So there's time management. And then you can really just start editing the boxes that's connected to your time management. So I'm just going to type in time, and then I'll just do a little watch or clock. And then I can start highlighting my time management skill spotlight. If you don't want this bottom one, you could do two if you'd like. If you don't want it, make sure you select your strip. Just right click, delete the entire strip, and then just shrink your section so there's not extra space. And now you've got a time management and you just need to edit the text boxes, okay? So that's just a quick way where you can, build some simple pages. You don't need to make it this complex. You can certainly just have let's go with a brand new section. We'll go, let's say, and add a section, blank section. So if you have a brand new section, you can easily just add an image if you want. I'm just going to add, let's do a clock again. So there's a clock. And then you can add a text box. And it can just be a regular paragraph. Where you just add your content. And then, of course, what I would do just to make all of your headers stand out a little bit more is just, oops, make them the same, right? So that's certainly another way that you can do it. And of course, move your time management to the top so that you have a title for your whole page. Okay, so you can make it very simple, or you can make it a little bit more creative and detailed. Completely up to you, depending on your time for the program or the course. If it's the course, keep it as simple as you can, just so that you've got your STAR technique, highlighting your skills, do 2 skills. And then later, after the course is done, if you want, you can come back and play and add some more things to it. Great. So thanks, everyone. That is the end of the Wix tutorial 4B. And have a great day. Thanks.